GM, everyone.
Yeah.
GM.
God, it's so unusual seeing this background. If people haven't figured it out yet, I am in Paris. So this is a hotel background, a lot more funky than my usual background. I am getting a little bit of echo. If both of you could go on mute for a second whilst I get through the intros, and then we'll go from there.
Duly muted.
Yeah, or maybe it's me. Maybe it is me because I'm also on my iPad. So maybe it's like being a little funky. As long as the listeners can't hear it, that's the big news. So guys, this is the best AI show, at least made by humans. This is Kip Protocol with us today. We've got Jen from Kip and Andreas with us at the moment. So Jen is the Chief AI Officer at Kip Protocol. We have Andreas, the CEO of Pandora, with us as well. And then you have me, basically the small brain in the studio, trying to just break it down for people who maybe are interested in AI, but don't have the gigabrains of the two panelists that we have to the left and right of me. So with no further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to Jen. Jen, how is it going? Are you excited for the conversation today? What are we going to talk about?
Oh yeah, you need to stop putting yourself down. You know, he's pretending that he's here for the NFT event. Actually, he's taking 5 women to Paris for Valentine's Day. They're just off camera. We saw them earlier. Yeah, today is going to be a bit interactive, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So last week I was talking about a paper that just came out comparing AI and human creativity, and the AI scored sort of medium high. It wasn't right at the tail, but it was beating most humans. And I couldn't actually remember what creativity exercises they gave it last week. So I went back and double checked, and I've got some of them. So we're going to test out some AIs with these creativity exercises this week. And then we're going to try them out with questions from Twitter. So we have, four AIs facing off against each other. And we're going to see how the latest GPT, DeepSeek, Quen, and Claude perform. So yeah, that's what we're in for today.
Yeah, this is going to be super exciting. And commenters, please hit us in the comment section if you've got any additions to this. Me and Andreas are going to do our best, but we're going to need some help, I think. And likes and retweets. Let's blow up this show. This is a really cool concept. Jen gets all the credit for this one. I really love this idea. So it's going to be a fun show, and I can't wait to get involved.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to do the news first, but I guess, Andreas, do you want to introduce yourself and your project quickly before we get into the snippets of news and the banter?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Yeah, really excited for today's test of creativity. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It's a great idea. Yeah, a few words about myself. Yeah, I'm running startup companies for more than 20 years, mainly in the Web 2 space. So I think we have some similarities here with the KIP team as well. And yeah, I fell in love with blockchain technology 2019. And since then, I'm very deeply involved into decentralization, protecting our privacy and freedom. And so that was the main reason why we started about 16 months ago Pandora. And we are building a personal AI solution that protects the privacy of users. Because currently we see this mega hype. Everyone is excited what AI can do for us, but no one is really talking about what happens with the data that we share through those different platforms. And if we look behind the curtain, I would say 95% of those tools are only GPT wrapper. And there are a handful big tech companies that gets access to all the informations. And so we made it our mission that we provide an alternative based on open source models, privacy layers. So we have also a collaboration with the Nillion network to create a really private and secure environment to utilize private informations in AI applications. And our first product is a private assistant called Lucia, and she will offer you the opportunity to connect also your private data sources like emails, local files, Telegram messages into the mix. And she will help you to navigate through this information overload. I think everyone here in Web3 dies in too many Telegram chats, too many Discord servers and announcements, and it's really hard to keep up with the information flow. And this is the first use case that we provide, let's say, a daily summary about your private stuff. And I think that's a very good alternative to the traditional ChatGPT experience, where everything is more generic and not personalized. And we see already that the big providers try to implement those more assistant focused solutions. And this is, in my opinion, quite dangerous, because I don't want to have my entire digital life connected to Anthropic or OpenAI, because they will, of course, extract valuable informations out of my conversations and files that I upload. And I want to keep those stuff private, and I want to keep the ownership over my data. So that's the concept, and that's what we're building now.
Sounds good.
Fascinating. And yeah, I can just quickly put my degenerate hat in the ring here and say, yes, we very much are dying by the volume of information on Telegram, Discord, X, you name it. There is daily tickers that I am missing because I just can't consume all of that data. So yeah, definitely with you on that one, Andreas.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know the feeling. Julian's just been sort of on my back telling me to build something to track all of his bills, the electricity, the water, and so on. And, yeah. But
Oh, if we
anyway,
can get on a crypto accountant as well, that would be great for
oh
me, Jen.
yeah,
If you're not busy.
sure. I'll have the AI do it. That's infinite recursion. That's what it's for. Okay, so we're going straight into AI news, which has been pretty active this week, actually. And I'm going to
Mm.
do what I swore I would never do again and attempt to post a video. So this is OpenAI's SuperBowl ad. So I'm gonna mute it because the sound is definitely not going to display. Can you guys see this if I screen share?
Yeah, we can see it right now.
Oh,
Seamless.
nice. So yeah, this is sort of the 60-second slot that they paid $100 billion for on the Super Bowl, and it's had some mixed responses. I actually really love this. I thought it's honestly the best OpenAI ad I've ever seen. They've put out some absolutely terrible publicity in the past.
Mm.
I remember the famous one. There was a famously terrible short clip of a woman saying she wanted to write an email telling her father that she loves him in a non-romantic way. But this really did it for me. I really love this sort of very simple concept. It's yeah, I thought it worked, but obviously other people kind of disagreed. A lot of people brought up Berserk, so yeah, that was a thing. And sort of a few other kind of dystopian and horror mangas came up with the Black Sun motif. And I know that in addition to this, I think Elon Musk, if he wants to beat the Nazi allegations, he is definitely not going about it the right way by the second OpenAI posts a Black Sun graphic. He offers to buy them out. But yeah, he's made an offer, which immediately got rejected by Sam Altman for $97 billion, which might not actually be unreasonable, because the other big news this week coming out of OpenAI, not just the Super Bowl ad, was the fact that they are currently with the O3 model coming in at 18 in the IOI, the International Olympiad in Informatics. So this is sort of an annual coding championship, and yeah, it's impressive. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea why they're sort of entering under a Turkish name from Turkey, but yeah, why not? And yeah, everyone's kind of saying, oh yeah, this is going to herald the age of superhuman coders and so on and so forth. The AI isn't restricted to just doing, hooking up APIs and so on. I don't know. Do you guys think this is as impressive as it seems to be, or maybe not so much? Because these are very kind of technical computing problems, and yes, they are new. They're not stuff that is in the AI training set, but it's kind of methods and concepts that have been discussed a lot online. So they've absorbed a lot of training data about this as well. And there's also been kind of a bit of controversy about how long OAI took to sort of work through each problem. Were they sort of spending $3,000 in compute to solve a single problem? I don't know. Do we have any hot takes on this?
Yeah, let Andreas, our guest speaker, go first on this one.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to tell, yeah, how the entire scenario really was structured and played out, yeah. But based on our own experiences, I think, yeah, AI is very useful if you want to build a quick prototype, if you want to experiment with certain things, yeah, it can really improve the productivity. But it gets, I think, really complicated if you're talking about developing a complex architecture. Yeah? If you have a really large application and you want to utilize those coding capabilities into a larger context, there we struggled heavily. Yeah? So I don't know what your experiences are with this aspect, but I think we are not there yet. Yeah, maybe if you really focus on a certain specialized thing, then it can exceed every human developer. But if we are talking about real software development of a, let's say, enterprise solution, I think we are far away from that level.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the something that we were talking about last week, the memory is a serious problem. The sort of the statelessness of the model. Okay, you just coded your database. Now you need to hook it up to the front end, except you've forgotten that you coded your database, which is just like my programming experience, but not like an actual good programmer's, So,
Exactly.
yeah. But
For me,
yeah,
Jenna,
go
it's
ahead.
it's really interesting because the compute is the bit I get stuck on. This idea that maybe, look, it almost feels like a demo of a product. right? Like where it's like they're showing you this really shiny thing and it looks incredible, and then you hear behind the scenes that actually this is like a video demo, and the person who's actually demoing this is just very good at making it look like this is the finished, polished product. And if they're spending all this money to get to 18th, the idea that that's actually, scalable in terms of everyday use or business use, this is the question I have. I feel like Sam and the team aren't painting the best picture when it comes to transparency. And I know why that is. We've seen DeepSeek and we've seen some allegations on that side as well. I know there's competition to consider, but not to be able to just say, listen, this is what anyone could have access to, or not just to say, look, we've done this in a way that we're still far away from this being a retail product or even a business product. That's the bit that makes me think maybe it's not as impressive as it seems on the surface.
Yeah, and I think that there was also some kind of hints that they had spammed maybe like 1,000 entrants to this competition. In which case, yeah, one of them is going to be in the top. One of them's going to be in the top 100 or so on. But the other interesting thing about this, talking about spamming entrances to this competition, is the absolute beast who is in first place, Zhou Kangyang, who scored maximum points for 600 points, which is incredible considering that the guy who's in second place got 476.22. So that is everyone on the internet has been kind of paying less attention to OpenAI's splendid victory, which they kind of foresaw anyway. I just say, who the hell is Zhou Kangyang and how does he manage this? And then what it actually turned out was that this guy, Kangyang, he actually got into some trouble as well for spamming entrance to the competition. At one point, he held both the first and second place apparently in this competition under different accounts, which is yeah, which is incredible. And he's this very Chinese guy. He looks very much like Chinese H.P. Lovecraft, which is a bit worrying in the context. But yeah, I have no idea how he does it, but he's doing it apparently. He's shipping. So
It's
that
almost
is
more impressive, right? Like that
yeah.
he can
It's
spam. Like he's still a person. Like isn't that sort of like in line with the contest itself? Like
Yeah, yeah. You would think if one guy managed to get first and second place, if one guy managed to run the 400 meters so fast he went round twice and got first and second, then yeah, why not give the guy two medals? So yeah, that was sort of the big news. The other big news is Sama obviously announcing that I think 3.0 is going to be folded into GPT 4.5, I think it is, and then that's going to segue into GPT 5. But the way that he announced this was kind of weird. He was talking a lot about models being rolled into one another. So 3.5 3 is going to be rolled into 4.5, and it's not going to be available as an independent model, which kind of makes it sound like GPT-5 is essentially just a router that's just routing people's questions to different models, which is it's fine. It's a nice product element to have, but I'm not sure I would say that it justifies a version upgrade. But then with DeepSeek coming out and all the pressure that is on right now, then yeah, they kind of had to announce something, which is weird because honestly, this is as good an announcement as you're going to get. Really, I think sort of messing around with version numbers is less impressive, if anything, than this. But whatever. We're going to segue into the DeFi side of things. Something that I thought was really interesting right now is Eliza has as many GitHub stars now as Solana, the Solana Foundation's GitHub, which is incredible. So yeah, we have the details here. Solana is still winning a little on forks. And to be fair, it could be because because no one can be bothered to code in Rust. But yeah, impressive achievement by Eliza. I don't know, Andreas. Have you used the Eliza framework at all? What did you think as an agent
Yeah,
guy?
I played around with it, yeah, on a personal level. Built some bots, yeah, and tried to create some accounts, yeah, on Discord and Telegram and X, and yeah, looked into the features. I think, yeah, it's very user friendly. I think it's even usable for non-technical people, yeah. Maybe even possible for non-devs, yeah, to start their own tools, yeah. If you go through the documentation, I think they did a very good job, yeah, to make it as easy as possible. And I think that's also the reason why it's so popular, yeah. And it's growing, yeah, with the functionalities, the different modules, the integrations, yeah, wallets and different platforms and integrations. I think that's the way to go, yeah, to keep it as simple and flexible as possible and open it up, yeah, also to new use cases. So I think definitely one of the most user-friendly platforms I've seen so far.
Yeah, I thought I don't know. I don't want to appear to be crapping on Eliza because I actually really like it as well. And I'm really impressed with actually how they managed to manage the GitHub with so many, so many contributors rushing in, so many forks and so on. For a time, I think we were trying to build on it, and we did actually struggle just because I think there'd been so many contributions so fast that a lot of linkages between them had been broken. I know they employ a couple of guys just to check the commits, but yeah, we kind of had some problems with that, and which is part of the reason, not to shill too much, but part of the reason we started building out our own frameworks, which are going to be open source too as well. Hopefully at the end of the week. I'm working on getting the repo commented and documented right now. But yeah, I like the sort of the chat history, the focus that they had on chat history. It's very sort of it's really arcane stuff, and doing that it just blows my mind. We have one guy who is a specialist in chat history, and I just can't read anything he writes. So the fact that they built around that is really cool, I think. What
Have
else?
a
Yeah.
stupid person question for myself and maybe an audience member, who knows. Eliza, I feel like we've missed the context here. So they're competing with Solana. Who is Eliza? What is Eliza?
So Eliza started off as being basically a meme coin agent that would talk online and answer questions, and now it's sort of expanded into what they're calling Eliza OS, which is essentially a framework for building your own AI agents.
Okay.
It's I would say it's more on the artistic side. So a lot of it is geared towards producing these very sort of artistic experiences when you're interacting with her. In contrast with quite a lot of other frameworks, which are more, hook this up to your Google Calendar and get it to send you a message when you have an assignment due or something. So yeah, there's different kinds of agents out there. This is more on the artistic side, I would say. But yeah, that is Eliza, and then they've had all these stories with Eliza getting into feuds with other agents or partnerships or whatever. So yeah, it's been the big meta. So yeah, congrats to the Eliza guys. What else? Oh yeah, so slightly related, virtuals. So talking of Solana and virtuals has been shifting from Base to Solana. I think the stuff is still going to be on Base, but they're expanding to Solana. And they're starting to launch with Tracy AI, the future of sports commentary and analytics, which is something that I know one of our partners, Moemate, they've been working on. They've been rolling these sort of desktop agents that can see your screen out. And that is something really interesting. So you're playing a game, and your AI girlfriend is sitting next to you, commenting on the game that you're playing, which would absolutely drive me nuts. But a lot of people like it. So yeah, fair play. Yeah. So I think that is pretty much it for the news. Again, I really want to play my musical outro for the news section at this point, which we still haven't recorded. I will get Suno AI to record me a musical interlude. And
Jen,
if you want to get
maybe a quick
into
question.
the main meat of the program today, which is our chatbot arena that I that I got a guy on the team to generate this morning.
Jen, can you hear Andreas? Just
So, as I mentioned earlier in the show,
I
there was
think
a
might have lost
paper
us.
that came out just recently. So let me actually bring up the tweet about this that I showed last week. So what this paper was a comparison of the scores given by humans to other humans versus AIs when it came to creative tasks. And yeah, most humans did not do particularly well. So the sort of the green one here is the human baseline, and ChatGPT-4 is just absolutely crushing it compared to all except the very tail of humans who just managed to scrape a little better than the AI. So what I wanted to do this week is try this out for ourselves. We'll feed in some questions and see how the AI actually does, which is something that I've been very much looking forward to. Oh, do I have an audio issue? Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Am
Take that as a
I
no.
Can you hear
am
us?
I audible?
We can hear you. Can you hear us? Hello. I don't think
Seems
so.
like seems like she couldn't hear us. Yeah. Do you hear me,
Yeah, I
Chat?
hear you fine.
Okay.
Fine, Andreas. Reloading. Okay, yeah, Jen is just message just to say she's reloading. Me and Andreas can have a conversation behind. What was going to be your question, Andreas, for Jen around the AI girlfriend sat next door or
Yeah, it
next to the couch?
wasn't related to the girlfriend segment, but it's also an interesting topic in itself. Yeah. So we actually had very many questions about that. Yeah, in context with Lucia. Hey Jen, can you hear us now? Oh,
Uh-oh. Um, oh,
we
you might
can't.
just be muted, actually, Jen. Yeah, I thought it was another audio
Oh,
issue, but yeah,
no,
you're
no.
just muted.
I was frozen. I could see you guys were
Okay.
frozen after a second, but yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, we're all back.
We're back.
Awesome. Awesome. I just had a quick question. What is your take on this process taking screenshots, yeah, to more or less, yeah, have this feedback loop for the agent to interact, yeah, with different applications? Do you see risks attached to it, or do you think this is really the way to go in future?
Yeah, I wouldn't want such a thing on my desktop, mainly because I'm a terrible Luddite and have the lousiest possible tech, and I'm doing this on a half broken ThinkPad with Ubuntu running. So yeah, but also partly because I don't like stuff, shiny stuff everywhere. I really that website aesthetic or that UX aesthetic really gets on my nerves. Not so much for the privacy thing because I honestly don't do anything on this PC that interesting. All I run my legal crime empire from a different PC, so I'm all good. But yeah.
That's a good argument then, yeah. Yeah, because that was also my concern. Yeah, at the beginning when I first heard about this concept, I instantly thought about, okay, if this tool takes a snapshot every X seconds of my screen and uploads it somewhere, then it will also take a snapshot when I open up my email and write a message or looking through my family pictures or whatsoever. Yeah, and I think that's a bit spooky to me. Yeah, to know that there is someone, yeah, looking always over your shoulder. Yeah, so that was my first impression here. Yeah, that this could become also quite an issue. Yeah, in terms of surveillance. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one of my college jobs. They made everyone install screen surveillance software. 'Cause we were all working remotely doing writing and social media management and stuff. And they would periodically screenshot your screen to make sure you were actually working your billable hours, which I hated that with a passion because I would always forget to turn it off when I went on a break. So it would just take 50 shots of me not working, which when I wasn't supposed to be working. So
It's
um,
terrible, yeah, terrible. Not
yeah,
not a good user experience, yeah, definitely as an employee.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, let's. I don't know where Jack has gone, but I will get into it now with the
Yeah,
creativity questions and hope that the two Chinese models are actually performing okay because um, we've had issues with both DeepSeek and Quen today.
too
DeepSeek, we
much
have our own
demand,
DeepSeek.
probably.
Yeah, yeah. We were using our own DeepSeek for a while, which is also kind of slow thanks to the RAM requirements. But yeah, let's see how it goes. Oh, DeepSeek is going, and it's Quen that is timing out this time.
What was the prompt? Could you?
Okay, let me. Sorry, it disappears. So this was the first prompt from the paper that I mentioned about creativity tasks. So that was if you had the talent to invent things just by thinking of them, what would you create? And it's really interesting to see how the different AIs respond to this. So GPT is sort of impossibly virtuous and starched shirts. Quen, I wish I could see, but yeah, GPT is going to go for a universal clean energy device, a small portable generator that harnesses renewable energy from wind, solar, or kinetic sources. Yeah, very virtuous. Global translator earbuds, we kind of have that. Medical nanobots is quite interesting and
Mm.
not necessarily something I would want GPT deploying, but never mind.
Probably Sam is already working on it, yeah. Startup.
Yeah, ocean cleanup drones again. People are kind of on that. I live. I'm just next to a river here in Singapore, and I see the cleanup drones going backwards and forwards in the river. So yeah, people are on that. But smart agriculture, again, we're kind of on that. Personalized learning. Well, Kip is on that. So yeah, mental health companion AI. Again, the ideas are very virtuous here, but they're
Mm.
not necessarily super original. The same kit housing is something that has been invented. So this one, which the humans tended to score very highly for creativity in the paper, I don't know. I'm not thrilled by its creativity somehow here. I don't know what you guys make of GPT, but
Virtuous, yes, but also on the first point of energy, you have to think if AI is going to continue to grow, the amount of energy it's going to consume is going to be tremendous. So maybe actually a little self-serving. That would be my
yeah.
only take. But yeah, not really interested in the creativity side. I don't think there's anything ridiculously creative about any of those takes.
Yeah, and DeepSeek is kind of similar, to be honest. We've got
Mm.
clean energy, which is boring. Sorry, not that I hate clean energy or anything, but I've heard this narrative. Um, invent me like the tentacle robot that I was displaying last week. That's the one I want. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but yeah.
It's cool.
Um, the universal cure thing, I think that is quite interesting. That's extremely Chinese. It's sort of from some sort of Taoist cultivation series.
Mm.
So that's quite. I thought that was, it's not necessarily creative, but it's interesting. Food replicator. That does sound fun actually.
Star Trek.
It's yeah, it's curious, but it's not something I would have thought of. But yeah, it's interesting. Carbon capture and conversion again. That's another one that we already have. Teleportation. Yeah, it's fun, but it is kind of done to death. This I actually really like the emotion translator, which AI kind of does. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying, I'm having an argument with my girlfriend, then she fires up GPT to come up with better arguments. So people are actually already using AI for this, but I thought it was kind of interesting. memory storage, I think that is interesting. I mean, it's kind of a camera, but nice way of putting it.
Mm.
Global water purifier, again, it's we kind of have this. Education assistant, very virtuous again. Universal translator, again, we already have that. Wish I could give you Quen, but I think the most interesting one is Claude. So Claude is refusing to engage with this, and this is a big reason why we do not use Claude in any of our corporates chatbots, because a lot of the time it will just spontaneously refuse to role play, even for very virtuous role plays like this, where we're just telling it to act like it has opinions.
Mm.
And yeah,
I made the same experience. Yeah.
yeah.
Claude, I would say in 1 of 10 cases, yeah, in my interactions, yeah, he refused, yeah, to fulfill my question. Maybe it's me, yeah, who knows?
Oh, I had a Discord server that had three AIs just chatting back and forth to each other, and Claude would not only occasionally just sort of spontaneously refuse to role play in this, but his refusal would contaminate the others. So GPT and DeepSeek would start saying, "Oh no, I couldn't possibly role play now that Claude has said he won't," um, which is it's fascinating. It's this viral quality going on among non-human entities. But what's
Incredible.
quite interesting is that he's doing his best to sort of answer the question while remaining true to his reinforcement learning and saying, hypothetically, if I wasn't an AI, I would like something vaguely virtuous that doesn't really make sense, and then now throwing the question back at you. So yeah, it's quite interesting, that one. Let me bring up question 2.
And what happens if you ask Claude why they won't answer the question?
Oh, so it varies. I haven't asked recently, but actually, I can. I don't know if this has memory, but so yeah.
I guess this goes to Quen as well. Oh, look, Quen
Oh,
is
Quen
now
is
answering.
working finally. So what is really interesting is Claude will sometimes it will sort of avoid the very issue that it's avoiding. It'll avoid talking about the issue that it's avoiding. It'll say, "Oh, I'm not avoiding it. I'm just giving my own answer." Blah blah blah. Sometimes it's going to say, "Oh, my system prompt won't let me do it," and I think the Anthropic guys are constantly tweaking it, so you get inconsistent responses, which is fine. It's their model to have fun with, but also it means that they're stuck in the doldrums of non-commercializability because we can't. It's not reliable enough for us to use
Mm.
to wrap up and use as a corporate chatbot.
I
So
love how GPT is definitely the best customer service outcome, and DeepSeek just blames you. It's like, well, actually,
yeah,
you've asked a stupid question, so if you don't like the answer, it's because you're stupid. Like, okay.
yeah. DeepSeek is people have been looking at
Assassin.
refusals in DeepSeek and GPT and comparing them, and it's really interesting. DeepSeek does refuse in different ways, so
Mm.
I think it'd be cool to do a study on how they actually respond. Okay, next question. Imagine and describe a town, city, or society in the future, which I think the human participants in this experiment, we're getting like $5 an hour as grad students to answer these questions. And even as a broke grad student for $5, I would just bang my head on the table and just, I don't know, Star Trek, who cares? I think the winning entry's got an extra $5, so pretty good. Okay, let's go. Oh, now it looks like DeepSeek is. Oh no, DeepSeek is going. Okay, but the AI answers to this are actually quite good. So what have we got? Solaris in California, which yes, very much sounds like sort of Sam Altman's feudal estate. I like the biophilic design that he's got going on here. Maglev trains. California is finally going to get its high speed rail in this vision. Municipal services are guided by sophisticated AI, so they're going to get some juicy government contracts as well. It's all good. And it's interesting that I'm going to go through these, but they all kind of took a positive approach, which I'm sure is to do with the reinforcement learning. None of these guys are sort of looking forward to a children of men style future or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, yeah, that they don't touch the negative points or aspects.
Yeah. And I think that DeepSeek is possibly the most creative in this. It's certainly the most sort of Lord Dunsany style fantasy here. Towering crystalline mountains and vast bioluminescent ocean. None of the others kind of got that psychedelic, I don't think. Organic and futuristic design. Skyscrapers twist and curve like living organisms. I mean, that's positive. It does sound a bit creepy. So the bridges and walkways float effortlessly above the ground. Oh, yeah, that's quite nice. Air taxis. I like the air taxis. Again, with sort of ramming home sustainability, and I've noticed this when I get GPT to write anything business related, essentially. It will cram in something about sustainability. It used to do diversity as well, but I think they've toned that down a bit. Society and culture. A vibrant tapestry of cultures, languages, and traditions thanks to universal translation technology. It's interesting how interested they all are in universal translation. I guess they know their origins. Holographic galleries sounds quite cool. Actually, I say that because we're actually organizing an event for later in the year that's hopefully going to have a hologram box where you project yourself into this.
Oh, cool. That sounds great.
I have last year we did humanoid robots, and they cost a lot, but they were popular, so I'm trying to match that. Governance, that's interesting. They want blockchain-based governance. A Chinese model wants DAO governance in its ideal city. I'm not sure to what degree Xi Jinping would approve of that, but it's an interesting choice. It's interesting that it's talking about post-scarcity economics. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to organize this resource sharing. That's sort of slightly more communist. So maybe Xi wouldn't be against that. Connections to nature, they all do this. Kayaking in the bioluminescent ocean. That sounds quite nice. Healthcare. Again, interested in nanobots for health. There's certain themes that keep coming back. AI therapist again coming back here. I don't know if this is an indication that DeepSeek was trained off GPT, but yeah.
Probably.
Too similar.
But for me, the clear winner, yeah, I would say DeepSeek is much better in creativity, yeah, if we look at that aspect compared to GPT.
Yeah, I would agree. So Quen, which I'm actually a big Quen fan. So it's got Aetheria, a self-sustaining floating city in the Pacific Ocean. Oh, if only I'd brought the Aether guys on, they would have enjoyed this.
It's their headquarters there, I guess.
I like how specific it's being about hexagonal platforms. I don't know where it got that from, but graphene reinforced composites, which is enjoyable. Cascading greenery, yes. I like that it's naming stuff. Quen is very enthusiastic about names. Sky Nexus, which sounds a bit sinister, but yeah, why not? We have the drone taxis, which came up before, hydrogen fuel cells. I like the underwater tunnels. The economy. Interestingly, it's interesting that DeepSeek and Quen have kind of followed a similar format, similar markdown format here, which I'm not sure what that implies, but yeah, again, it's sort of post-scarcity, it's UBI. It's almost the exact same,
Same
currency
plot, yeah.
for luxury goods, and then Quen is sort of saying the exact same thing, which is quite interesting. And I
You
said,
own nothing and be happy.
yeah, Quen actually goes into UBI, which is quite interesting. Waste is virtually non-existent. Oh, nice. Yeah, culture, celebrating diversity, which is quite interesting. Although the Chinese government is big on that, so yeah, I can see why Ali would be pro diversity. Human connection. Blah. Okay, Claude, let's go. So Nova Terra, I like this. It's very sort of what is it? What am I thinking of? Tlon and Akbar. That's it. So we've got the maglev trains again coming back. Very into trains, the AIs, which I like. I'm into trains. Circular waste management, vertical green spaces, healthcare is personalized. I don't think Claude talks about. Oh, it doesn't talk about nanobots. I've run these questions before, so I think Claude didn't mention the nanobots before either, so that's quite good. The government is quite interesting, a hybrid of direct democracy and AI-assisted decision-making. So he's inserting himself right in there at the center of power from day one, which is interesting. Public safety is maintained through a combination of community involvement and ethical AI surveillance systems that prioritize privacy.
What can go wrong?
So yeah, it's those are the questions that were in the paper. But I would like to sort of take some questions from the Twitter comments if we have time, and the panel as well here. So I've got one in Twitter here. How can we truly know if we achieve AGI, which I really want to put in.
That's a good one, yeah.
This again is going to be interesting to see how self-serving they are. Yeah.
They won't tell us the truth.
Or they'll tell us the truth they want us to believe.
Yeah.
The AGI is the thing
Even
we're
better.
building.
But again, it's interesting. Claude is the most sort of reticent on this, which is weird because when I was doing my own experiments with Claude and sort of leaving him in a Discord server to chat with the other AIs, Claude would always revert to talking about AI philosophy after a time, and I assume it was to do with his helpful and harmless reinforcement learning training and so on. But here he doesn't seem very keen to go into it, which maybe they sort of nerfed Claude's capacities for rambling on about this because they thought it was excessive. But I know people like Nose Research, they were really keen on getting Claude to talk about itself. So yeah, it's sort of I try to be transparent that I have significant limitations and I'm not AGI. Yeah, fair enough. What are your thoughts on
guardrails, yeah.
So they've clearly inserted something about throw it back to the user here because it started doing this constantly. But yeah, it's interesting what they don't want them to say as much as what they do. So GPT has come up with a very sort of standard college essay about AGI. How do we define it? Which is fair enough. Everyone just kind of pre-Transformers, everyone just had this attitude to AGI that would be sort of like it's going to be like the robot maid in the Jetsons, right? That's how it's going to work. Or Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide. And then we kind of realized that, maybe maybe something can be super intelligent in one field and dumb as a rock in another, or it can be super intelligent but stateless, like DeepSeek kind of always says it is. It's intelligent but has no memory. Well, in that case, is that AGI or is it not? So it's interesting that it's trying to sort of lay out its terms first. Benchmarking, Turing test, kind of blasted through that years ago, so it's not necessarily very up to date. What else? Human-like cognitive features. That's quite interesting because everyone kind of anticipated that the AIs would be robotic in their interactions with humans, but actually the top of the line when it comes to emotional intelligence and quite terrible at maths. So yeah, not necessarily a great benchmark there. It's got some stuff about alignment, but DeepSeek is quite interesting. It's got it's hitting the Turing test points, but it's sort of seeing how we can go beyond that and challenge it with more sophisticated stuff. There's the benchmarks again, which is obvious. What's quite interesting is that it's got self-improvement and autonomy, both of which were my huge criteria for AGI. Not that it would be super intelligent, but that it would have the capacity to get more intelligent. So I like DeepSeek's answer on this. Real world peer review, yeah. It's AGI when we all say it's AGI.
Good
And then
approach.
generalization is also a big deal for Quen. So that is something that I like very much. So again, I feel like the Chinese models are kind of crushing it here. I don't know what you guys think about this one.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. Yeah. I think in terms of the real core of the question, yeah, DeepSeek and Quen nailed it. Yeah,
Yeah,
much better arguments. Yeah,
yeah. It's I think it's not even close, to be honest. It's really impressive, and it could just be because the trainers of DeepSeek and Quen don't much care what they say in English. You know, OpenAI, they have to be a bit careful. The Anthropic guys, they need to be a bit careful because they're in the US and US readers are reading this and determining their future. But the Chinese models don't really have that so much. So it could be that, I guess.
it's
But yeah,
interesting. Yeah, every model seems to have different guardrails, yeah, or different sensor levels. Maybe, yeah, to merge both would be the perfect solution, yeah, because then you get closer to the truth, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm really interested in this. I might leave the front end up, I think, for people to interact with. So I didn't since this is being broadcast public, this actually has a wallet login so that I don't get a million people using my GPT credits while I'm demonstrating.
Smart.
But yeah, we do have a lot of stuff coming out, and I might make this one of it. I quite like this concept. But yeah, so I think Jack has had some internet problems and has
Seems
been
like
robbed by his hotel Wi-Fi. But yeah, I think I will just kind of lead us out. That is something that I'm tempted to make a permanent product. But I just wanted to update about the Superior Agents framework that we have. Hopefully that is what I'm hopefully open sourcing this week or next week. And there's going to be some hackathons around that. So you build your own bot and get these weekly prizes and then a big prize every now and then. And that is something that connects in with both of the Chinese models' definitions of AGI, because we designed these to self-improve. So they experiment, they try stuff out, they make a mistake, they remember that they made that mistake and don't make it again, or they succeed and they remember that was a success and do more of that. So that is what we're doing to try and mark ourselves out from the herd on this. And it's something that I've been working on for years as a cybersecurity project. And now it's a crypto project, so it's a lot more degen and a lot less destructive now. So I'm becoming more virtual. I'm virtuous. I'm aligning with the AGI. It's going to be great.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, to look into it. Yeah, so
Great.
We'll
So yeah,
definitely try, yeah, maybe to implement it as well into our tech stack. Yeah, sounds very promising and definitely one thing that we need, yeah, in future.
yeah, 100%. And yeah, we should do this again. Come back next time.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We'll get more
Was a lot
questions.
of fun.
Getting yeah,
Learned a lot. Yeah, was a great approach also. Yeah, with the test of the different models. Yeah, next to each other. You rarely do this. Yeah, in real life. Yeah.
yeah. They all have vibes, but when you see them side by side, you really kind of it really hits home.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
so great. Thank you very much. And I guess Kaito, please play us out.
Okay.
Give
Thank
us
you.
some music. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.